अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा devotees. Okay, so today we are in the chapter number 8. So what's chapter number 8? Anybody knows what's the chapter name?
Attaining the Supreme.
Attaining the Supreme. That's fantastic. That's a very perfect summary of what we are going to be discussing. How to attain the Supreme. I mean, what is the goal? I mean, what is the goal of human form of life? It is attaining the Supreme. And how do you attain the Supreme? And what do you mean by attaining the Supreme? All of this is what we are going to be discussing today. So let us begin today's discussion. And last week we discussed the 8 questions asked by Arjuna, and 7 questions have been answered already by Krishna. And today is going to be very important. That's the last question of Arjuna. This is the question. How does he live in the body, O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So how can one know you at the time of death is the question. And now Krishna is going to explain that from 8.5. This is a very, very crucial and important verse. Very important. I would say this is like the most important verse. Okay, let us read this verse. Everybody, please be attentive and listen to this. Very important. Okay, who would like to read this verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme, text 5. Antakale cha mameva smaranamukta kalevaram yaha prayati samadbhavam yati nastaya atra samshayaha. Translation by His Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
thank you.
Thank you very much. I will request one more devotee. Praveen Prabhu, would you like to also read? It's a very important verse. We will read it twice. Yeah.
अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरं मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावं यति नास्ति अत्र संशयः. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So the verse goes like this. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshayaha. Let's go through the synonyms. Antakale, at the end of life. Cha, also. Mam, may. Eva, certainly. Smaran, remembering. Muktva, quitting. Kalevaram, the body. Yah, he, who. Prayati, goes. Saha, he. Madbhavam, my nature. Yati, achieves. Na, not. Asti, there is. Atra, here. Samshaya, doubt. Simple words. It says anybody at the time of dying, if they remember Krishna, they will attain Krishna. It is the name of this chapter is attaining the Supreme. You see, attaining the Supreme, attaining Krishna. How to attain Krishna? Here is a straightforward way to attain Krishna. Remember Krishna at the time of death. Okay. So, what is the difficulty? It's very easy, isn't it? Or is it very difficult? Let's find out. Okay, the purport. Anybody can read this verse? Purport? Yeah.
Purport. In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran remembering is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of his life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one be as tolerant as a tree, Taror Iva Shahishnuna. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, so that at the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much. So, so what do we understand from this? So it's the point is this, the point of death is a very crucial moment. It's like the final exam, right? So just like, we have students who are studying all throughout the year, they study, but there is something called as a final exam, right? And if somebody fails in the final exam, they have failed it. They failed that entire year. They'll have to repeat it. Is it not? And how important it is, I mean, if you want to be performing well in the final exam, obviously you should be studying every single day. That is also true, right? So the same applies here also. So death is a very important and a crucial, critical point of time that we should not be scared about. Okay, because Parikshit Maharaj was about to die in 7 days, right? He had only 7 days to die. And he goes to Shukadeva Goswami. And Shukadeva Goswami gives him the same advice. He says, don't be scared. There's nothing, don't be scared. Okay, you are about to die in some time, don't be scared. Now you sit down and then you remember Krishna. That's all he says, right? So this is a very important point. That if we miss that point, what happens is we will not be able to go back to Godhead. So there have been so many wonderful examples of devotees who were remembering Krishna at the time of death and who went back to Godhead, right? Who went back to Godhead. But for that, it is very important that we have to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. How can we remember Krishna at the time of death? So without preparing for it, very well throughout the life, it is not possible that we can remember Krishna, right? So I would like all of you to do a simple self-reflection exercise. Okay, maybe if you have a paper and a pen, you can take it out and just note down in your notepad or diary or whatever. Okay, here is the question. When was the last time you had an accident? Okay, when was the last time you had an accident or something dangerous happened to you, right? Where you were very scared, right? Maybe you tripped, maybe something happened to your near one, something like that. Okay, and at that point of time, what came inside your mind? I mean, what did you utter at that point of time? That's the question. Simple. When you tripped, when you fell down, or when something happened, what was the words that came out of your mouth? Please write down in a diary right now and reflect. So here Krishna is saying, if you remember Krishna at the time of death, you will go back to God. So that's like a mini test kind of a thing, you see. Anybody would like to share any experience, that you have? Last time when you were in danger, what did you remember? Did you remember Krishna, or did you remember your family, or did you say something? What happened? Would anybody like to share? We would like to hear.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
This year starting January, I got the news that my grandson expired, and I was aghast, astonished, and all of a sudden I said, "Oh Krishna, please, let it be a false news. It should not be right. It's too young to die." That's all came to my mind. And after that, I don't remember what happened to me.
Sorry to know that, Mataji. And I
It's
remember
okay,
you
Prabhu.
you underwent one accident also. I remember you told me that.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. That
Can
was
you tell us a little bit
during the
about that?
Purushottam Mass last 3 years before, when I was coming back from Vrindavan. And as I came into conscious, I could only see four men standing around in white clothes, and like they were helping me out, Prabhuji. And I just thought, oh, why are these godly men over here? And after that, it was all usual, Prabhuji. But yes, those four people dressed in white shirts and black pants helped me a lot, Prabhuji. I had no hassles in calling the ambulance or calling the police or for the ambulance to take me to the hospital. Everything went hassle free. They were very polite to me and they helped me out through and through. And they kept in touch with my driver till I reached the hospital. So I saw God's hand in that also, Prabhuji. And
Yes.
even the doctors who attend me in a government hospital, they say the government hospitals are the worst place to go. But even the doctor there, he helped me out a lot, Prabhuji. And like he was so cordial, so all the staff over there were also so like, warm to me. And they were always trying, Mataji, don't get scared, nothing will happen. We are here to look after you. This is a very rare thing, Prabhuji. And even the policeman, UP police, and I don't know about other places, UP police, Prabhuji, they are little bribery type and very harsh. But this policeman was very, very cooperative, very helpful. He said, oh, let the driver can come afterwards and write down the complaint. Let this madam go first to the hospital. Otherwise, anything can happen to her. He was that cooperative, Prabhuji. And even when my son-in-law went to take the car which was crashed from the police station, he didn't bother to write anything else. He just asked one thing: how is that Mataji? What happened to her? Is she fine? So I see God's Krishna's hand in everything, Prabhuji. If it wasn't for him, I don't know what would have happened that day. Because my car really took a big toll, big skid, Prabhuji. And over there in UP highways, nobody stops for anybody. Nobody asks what happened to you. But that day, four men coming out and helping me. And all Prabhuji in white shirts and black pants. I don't know how it could have been a coincidence. And they really helped me out.
Thank you for sharing, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, devotees. Anybody else would like to share? You had any near-death experience, and what happened? What did you remember? When something very bad happened. Anybody would like to share?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Of course, much before I became Krishna conscious, maybe there were certain occasions because I'm in the construction field. And I still remember there were some two occasions where I would have been actually fallen from a height and got crushing in down on the ground floor. But somehow I had a miraculous escape and all that. But then at that time of my moment, or and another instance where I was overspeeding and I don't know, some really I would have got killed actually. But in those times, maybe I have not really thought about God or something like that. But then when I became, more godly, I wasn't not totally atheist or something, but I always believe in having this Arupade and all that. I used to go for a number of occasions. But then when I slowly became Krishna conscious, then I realized, yeah, there were a number of instances that the invisible hand of God has actually protected me in such situations. Only when I became Krishna conscious that I saw that, that his invisible hand was there to help me out. That is how I sort of come in, to my realization of what God is about. That's it,
Thank you for
Prabhu. Sorry.
sharing.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for
Prabhuji,
sharing.
I would
Yes, please.
like to share one more thing,
Please
Prabhuji.
go ahead.
Last year, 2024, uh, my husband went into coma, Prabhuji. High sugar levels.
Yes, Mataji.
And
Sorry.
most of the doctors said they refused to touch his file also. They said, it's no use, hopeless case. We won't touch this file. Prabhuji, I used to keep the headphones on his head and all the classes during that time. I used to make my husband listen. And the rest of the time, I used to chant or make him hear the Narsim Bija, mantra, Bija Prabhuji. And and whatever else my husband, my son is also Dr. Prabhuji, what else he could do on his level, he did. because other doctors refused to touch his file. They said it's no use. We won't touch him. And even his friends, Prabhuji, whom we know very closely, they also refused. They said, "Arey beta, isme kuch dam nahi hai. We would not like to do anything. Just leave it in the God's hand." So I said, "Okay, fine. Then if it is in God's hand, it will be in God's hand." And Prabhuji, all the classes, your classes, the morning classes, the evening classes, that time used to hear Sri Ram Prabhuji's classes also. Those classes, chanting of mantras. I used to read the Bhagavad Gita out to him. And Prabhuji, within 2 months, he started gaining consciousness.
Sure.
He started moving his legs. Jai. So this I had to share because there's some power, Prabhuji. There's some power, no? Krishna is there, Prabhuji. If you call out to him, he does come to you. And that should be a call, a cry with faith, Prabhuji.
Definitely, Mataji. Very nice, interesting share, Mataji. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, may I share mine?
Please, go ahead.
Mine is a very interesting situation, Prabhuji, and I have accepted my situation very, very happily. I live on, like there were days when I used to thank every 2 minutes that, oh, thank you, God, for giving me these 2 minutes. That was in 2021 when I just accidentally came across this Gita Gyan course in on Facebook. So that's it. We say social media is you have to keep away from it, but in my case, it turned out to be very, very helpful. And that's how I joined Gita Gyan. And that was the time I was in COVID time. There was nobody to help, and I was almost unable to breathe, totally unable to breathe, myself and my husband. I used to sleep on the divan which is near the door, the main door, so that just in case something happens to me, the other people can, because being COVID situation, they'll not help, So
Right.
I used to somehow take a bath, wear my bindi and wear my Mangal Sutra and come and lie down on this, waiting for me to just leave the body. So, and ever since I came across this course, and every day I used to pray that let me somehow finish this course, and then, okay, Krishna, you take me away. Let me finish this course, I'll take me away. And that's how I've completed at least 4 years of every year the level 1 class. And even now, I do go through phases where I'm unable to breathe. So I take one day at a time and I take it very happily, and I thank Krishna before going to sleep. I thank him when I wake up. And I thank him. I always ask. We are not supposed to ask Krishna anything, but I always ask him, Krishna, please give me the energy to light the lamp. And after coming out of the bathroom, I'll just tell Krishna, please give me the energy to light the lamp. And then Krishna gives me the energy, and then I'll sit for the class. So even in the class to chant or recite, I'll tell Krishna, please give me the energy to say one verse. He'll give me. So he's literally taking care of me every single minute. So you just imagine, I mean, how much grateful I have to be to him. I have no words, Prabhuji. I have no words. I'm completely surrendered soul. And it's all it's Krishna's mercy, and I owe a lot to the association that I got, and it's only through him that I got to this association, because of which I'm spending my days. I won't say last days, happy days. Thank
Thank
you
you for
so much,
sharing.
Prabhuji.
Thank you for sharing, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you, devotees. That was definitely very, very deep realizations. And yeah, it's definitely making all of us think. I mean, all these stories, I'm sure it's happening for same for you also, that when we hear these stories, we start thinking, introspecting, deep into our lives, right? So life is very temporary, and here is the message, the most important message of Bhagavad Gita 8.5. Mark this verse, Antakali Chamami, where the Krishna is saying very simply, just remember me at the time of death, and you will come back to me. And once, if we can go back to Godhead, and there's nothing, Prabhupada used to always say, he's written a magazine called Back to Godhead. And the entire movement that Srila Prabhupada has started is about a movement which helps us to go back to home, back to Godhead. He says it's home. We call our home as a home, right? But there is a song in Kannada, that's by Purandardas. It says, illirodu summane, allirodu nammane. That means the house which we have here is not real house. It's a fake house. What we call home is not home. Real home is in the abode of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna's abode is our real home. We are like, children who got lost from the spiritual world and somehow we fell into this material world. Somehow we are here and it's not a very happy place to be. Okay, we will see and discover in this chapter only. Krishna will explain about how this material world is full of suffering. This is full of suffering. Somehow we fell down from our home and we are here wandering here and there. And now here is a chance for us to go back to home, back to God. It's time to go back to the Father. It's time to go back to home, back to God. Right? So a quick story. Let us discuss one story. There was one Brahmana by the name Ajamila. Okay, Ajamil, right? Very famous story from Srimad Bhagavad. So this Ajamil, he was a very pious Brahman and he was doing all his ritualistic activities, etc. But somehow one day he went to get some wooden sticks for the fire sacrifice, and somehow he happened to see an uncultured lady, okay, she was having intercourse with some gent, and when he saw that, he got very affected by that. And when he saw that lady in a very compromised position, he was unable but to think about her all the time. And slowly he stopped doing his religious activities and he wanted to go to her. She was basically a prostitute. And somehow he gets in touch with her, and then slowly he brings her home and then sends his family out. His family, his wife, his children, his elderly parents, all of them out of the house. He stops all religious activities, becomes a fallen person, starts doing theft and dacoitry and murders and looting people, and he becomes a very fallen person. Has many children with that prostitute, and somehow he names his last son Narayana. And all the time he was remembering or just simply saying, Narayan, please come here. Narayana, stand up. Narayana, please sit down. Like that. He was very old. He was 80 years old, but still he had a very young kid. And he was always remembering his son Narayana. And the time of death had come. And there were some, this Yamadutas had come. The Yamadutas had come and they were trying to drag his soul out of the body. At that time, Vishnudutas also come. Right? Vishnudutas are the associates of the Supreme Lord who came from the Vaikuntha planet, who look like Vishnu. And they start debating with this Yamadutas and say, no, you cannot take this person because at the time of death, he has remembered the holy names of the Lord. So which makes him free from all sinful reactions. So in fact, he is now eligible for liberation. Because simply if anybody can remember the names of Lord at the time of death, he becomes eligible for liberation. Therefore, he is not under your jurisdiction and you must leave. And these people leave. And then this Ajamil gets an extension to his life. Right? And he uses that extension very carefully. He immediately realizes what was the mistake that he was doing all through his life. How he fell down from his position. And immediately he goes to Haridwar and he continuously performs Krishna consciousness without even wasting a moment. And then actual time of death comes, and then the Vishnudutas will come. The same Vishnudutas whom he has seen, who had saved him, come, and then they take him back to home, back to Godhead in the Vaikuntha Vimana, Vaikuntha airplane. So this is a very instructive story. This is also, there's a book called Second Chance that Srila Prabhupada wrote. So Ajamil had a second chance. And that also is explained why he had a second chance. He had a second chance because he had performed some devotional service when he was being a Brahmana. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobayat. Somehow he performed some devotional service which helped him at the end of his life to remember Krishna. But he was lucky to have a second chance, we must say. So not everybody gets a second chance. And we should not even depend on that second chance. So our second chance is this, that we have to take care. I mean, we should be alert, like how Ajamila was alert, how Parikshit Maharaj had 7 days to die, and he was very alert. So we have to be alert when we have to understand what's our goal, and we have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are practicing remembrance of Krishna, and by incessantly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we are increasing our chances of remembering Lord at the time of death. Now, one of the challenges that we have in chanting Hare Krishna, not one, we have many, isn't it? And if I ask each of you, and if I ask myself also, maybe I'll come up with some excuses or some reasons, right? Or some genuine reasons also, whatever it may be, that, things are not favorable, my family is not cooperative, things like that, lot of things. But for that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said one important statement. Okay, let us all hear carefully what he says. What he says is, the way you have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Trunadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. 2 points. First point is, think of yourself as lower than a straw on the street. Do not think of yourself too high. And the second point is, be as tolerant as a tree. Now, a tree does not protest even if you are cutting its branches, or even if you are cutting it by its root also, it doesn't protest. It is always the same. Similarly, our conditions, our situation may not be favorable. It won't be. It won't be favorable. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying it won't be favorable. But we have to practice like a tree. Tarorapi sahishnuna. We should, just like how a tree will just go on, we should simply go on chanting our Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No matter who says what they say, we should just simply not care. We should just be like a tree. Like Tarorapi sahishnuna. Just be like a tree. Take inspiration from a tree. A tree won't care, right? So if you have that conviction, if you understand the seriousness of this, then you will have conviction, right? So we should not care about what people talk about, right? So just like how, if I have to tell you one story, is a story of our Guru Maharaj. His name is Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He was a son of a millionaire. He had so much of inheritance, right? And at the age of 19, he came in touch with Srila Prabhupada, and he joined full time in the Montreal temple. And his father had warned him that if you are not going to come back, I will not give you even a single penny of inheritance. You will lose all the inheritance. But our Guru Maharaj, he did not care. He was just there. And his father kept saying, you should join the US Army. So our Guru Maharaj went to Srila Prabhupada and asked, my father is saying join the US Army. What should I do? I'm having a lot of pressure. My father is saying join the US Army for Vietnam War. Then Srila Prabhupada said, you join Krishna's army, it's enough. Right? And he just kept doing his chanting. That's it. That is Tarorapi Sahishnuna. We should be as tolerant as a tree. Right? There will be impedances. There is going to be a problem. It is not going to be like, the universe will come and bring a japamala into our hand, and Mother Nature will come and say, please get up and now chant. Everything is going to be the opposite. It's like that. That is how it is designed. This material world is designed that, you are not able to chant Hare Krishna. Because if everybody chants, everybody will go back to Godhead. Then what is the point of Maya? There is going to be definitely resistance. There's going to be unfavorable situation for sure. Okay, we have to practice to be tolerant. If we understand the final goal, we'll be tolerant. Right? So it happens a lot of times, isn't it? A lot of our parents, right, have done so many sacrifices. Why they have done so many sacrifices? Because they know that the end goal is that, I want my child to be happy. For that end goal, they have done sacrifices. Similarly, if you are convinced about your end goal, the end goal is at the time of death, I must be able to remember Krishna. At the time of death, I must be able to remember Krishna. If you're convinced about that end goal, any problem will not be a problem. It is just about getting convinced that my end goal is this. And we should be ready to take up that austerity. That's it. Okay. Now let us see in the next verse. In this verse, Krishna said that those people who remember me at the time of death come back to me. Just like how Ajamila at the time of death remembered Lord's name, and he got an extension of his life, and at the time of death he remembered Krishna and went back to God. Now, what happens if we do not remember Lord? That is what is very important, and we'll continue our discussion. Okay, so this is the next verse of Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, verse number 6. Who wants to read this?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, please go ahead.
Text 6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tameva iti kaunteya sadhat tadbhava bhavitaha. Synonyms: yam yam, whatever, va api, at all, smaran, remembering, bhavam, nature, tyajati, gives up, ante, at the end, kalevaram, this body, tam, similar, eva, certainly, iti, gets, kaunteya, O son of Kunti, sada, always, tat, that, bhava, the state of being, bhavataha, remembering. Translation: whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Matsi. Thank you. How many of you remember the story of Gita Mahatmya that I said for the 8th chapter? Anybody remembers that? Do you remember the story of the Brahmana? Bhava Sharma. There was a Brahmana by the name Bhava Sharma. Like Ajamil, he was also completely fallen Brahmin. And what happened was he was like totally addicted to alcohol. Okay, he was drinking this palm date liquor, right? And one day he drank so much in a party that he got dysentery and he died because of the disease. And any guesses what happened to him next? This is the formula. The formula is whatever you remember or whatever consciousness we have at the time of dying, we attain that consciousness. So what do you
He
think happened?
became the tree, no?
He was
That's what
found hanging on a palm tree.
he
Yeah,
became the tree.
he became a
He
date
was
palm
found
tree. Yeah, he
dead.
became a date palm tree. So if there's somebody who's an alcoholic, right? So what is going to happen to them is this, because the state of at the time of death, okay, whatever we eat, whatever we drink, whatever is the kind of consciousness that we have, that state is what we will get, right? So there is another interesting story. I'll tell that. Before that, let us just go through this purport. I want one devotee to please go through this purport. Read this purport.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read the
Yeah,
purport?
please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada teacher. The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person who at the end of his life quits his body, thinking of Krishna, attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. This is a point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? Maharaja Bharat, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life. And so, in his next life, he was transferred into a body of a deer. Although, as a deer, he remembered his past activities, he had to accept that animal body. Of course, one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thoughts at the moment of death. So, this life creates one's next life. If in one's present life one lives in the mode of goodness and always thinks of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one to be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendentally observed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Matsi. Thank you very much. So here it is explained about the process of changing one's nature. Okay, So what is the nature? Okay, we have got a nature. We have got our real nature. Our real nature is Adhyatmam Karma Chakila. We saw Adhyatma is our nature. Adhyatma is our nature. That means being spiritual is our nature. That's our true nature. Just like a fish. A fish, you see, as long as it's inside the water, it's happy. But if you artificially take that fish out of the water and give it all the comforts of life, you give this fish a very nice, cozy sofa to sit, maybe nice food and nice juices to drink. You give it all the comforts, AC, everything. But do you think the fish will be happy? Yes, no. What do you think?
No.
The fish will never be happy. Fish will never be happy outside water. Right? Similarly, we are not material body. We are not the matter. So we can never be happy, away from Krishna, away from spiritual life, away from Krishna conscious life. We cannot be happy. How much ever artificial happiness we try to give, there is a vacuum. There is something hollow. And ultimately, it causes more suffering also. You see, Lord Buddha, we know his story. When he was a small kid, he was Siddharth, right? And what happened? He was having all the comforts of life, is it not? But he was feeling very hollow from inside, is it not? Right? Why not? I mean, people look forward for such a kind of life, isn't it? And actually, the astrologer said, this Siddharth, Prince Siddharth, will become a yati, that is, he'll become a monk. So then their parents think, okay, let's do what the astrologers are warning us. Don't show him anything which is sad. No sad news should be heard by him. Okay, he should not see anybody who is deceased. He should not see any person dying, or he should not see any old people. He should see only young people, happy people, smiling faces, always enjoying. Just like our TV marketing, just like our Instagram and all the social media. You always see happy people around. Happy people, youthful people, enjoying life always. But he never saw anybody. But then there was a lot of vacuum inside him, right? And when somehow he came outside this kingdom and he saw people outside that they were suffering. There was somebody who was old person who was suffering. There was somebody who was grieving for the person who died in their family. There was somebody, he saw one birth, and then he saw some deceased person. When he saw all of that, he was completely moved, and he saw that this is all temporary. I mean, there is something wrong in this world. This material world, something is wrong here. Okay, this is not correct. There's no permanent happiness here. And then he went after enlightenment, right? So this is a very powerful story, right? So this is the birth, death, old age, and disease. So if we don't understand this point, that if we are under illusion that we can be happy by material enjoyment, that's an illusion. That's for sure an illusion. I mean, all the people who have all the riches, if you ask them, they're going to say the same thing. They say the same thing, that we feel very hollow from inside. We feel vacuum inside. We feel very depressed, like that. Nobody says, I'm very happy, I'm enjoying. They just say that, but actually they're not happy at all, right? So the real happiness is Adhyatma. Adhyatma is being in the water. That is, fish must be inside water. Similarly, a soul must be Krishna conscious. So as long as we are in touch with Krishna, we'll be happy. No matter what, whether we may have something very favorable, we may not have anything also, but still we can be very happy. That is if Krishna is with us. If we are not in Krishna consciousness, we may have everything, but we cannot be happy. We cannot be happy, right? Just like Pandavas and the Kauravas, right? What happened to Duryodhana? Duryodhana was very envious that this Pandavas, I must take away their kingdom. And somehow he did some kind of cheating. He played the dice match with Shakuni, and he somehow stole their kingdom. And he exiled them. And now they are in exile for 14 years. And Duryodhana is enjoying their kingdom also. He has got his kingdom, which his father gave. And he has got the kingdom of the Pandavas as well, because he won it in the dice. But is he happy? Tell me. Was he happy? He wasn't happy.
No, Prabhuji.
He was not happy. But he was unhappy because Pandavas were happy. Because Pandavas, every day they used to get saintly people to their house. And they had Akshay Patra with them. And then Lord Krishna used to visit regularly, to come to meet them. And they used to hear so many nice discourses from different saintly people. and they were having personal association of Krishna, and they were so happy that way, right? So, but Duryodhana having everything, but is unhappy. So that's why Krishna says, Nasti buddhi rayuktasya, nachayuktasya bhavana, nabhavayata shanti, ashantasya kuta sukham. A person who doesn't have a proper intelligence, doesn't have the proper mindset or bhavana, and a person who doesn't have a proper mindset, who is not Krishna conscious, he cannot have peace of mind. And a person who doesn't have peace of mind can never be happy. Ashantasya kuta sukham. Happiness cannot be bought by someone who doesn't have peace of mind, can never be happy. Right? So the point here is that whatever we remember at the time of death, we get that nature. That is the different. There are two types of natures. Let's understand that. There are two things. One is transcendental nature, one is material nature. Only two. There are not three. Transcendental, material. Transcendental nature is, if we remember Krishna, we are in transcendental. We are under the shelter of Yoga Maya. The second one is the material nature. When we are always contemplating about how to enjoy the matter, how to enjoy this world, that is material nature. Yeah, that is Maya. That means taking shelter of Maya. So what happens is both of them are attractive. Krishna is also attractive. We feel like going to Krishna's temple. We feel like going to Vrindavan, right? And Maya is also attractive. We feel like going to a movie. We feel like going to some mall, right? Or we feel like going to some place on a tour. But Krishna attracts and delivers happiness. Yes or no? At the end of Bhagavad Gita class, you don't feel depressed. You feel happy. I spent my time nicely today. Time well spent. I'm feeling very peaceful. But when you take shelter of Maya, okay, let us say you spend 1 hour in watching a serial, or maybe you spend a half a day in going to the mall and coming back. Tell me genuinely, do you feel happy or do you feel somewhere guilty? What do you feel? Right? Do you feel that your time has been well spent when you go for a movie and come back, right, and spend so much of money, or go on a foreign tour, or wherever you go, come back, and then you actually feel bad that, okay, I think I wasted my time. I should have done something better. I don't know, somehow feeling I did something wrong. There's a guilty feeling. Why is that guilty feeling there? Yeah. Yes.
Except for Narsimha movie, Prabhuji.
Yeah, except for the Narsimha movie, which the devotees went for the Narsimha movie. Right? So otherwise there's a guilt, right? So there's a guilt and there's no happiness at all. Ultimately, like Maya also attracts, but doesn't deliver us any happiness. It doesn't deliver happiness. It gives you mixed happiness. Sometimes it's like a mixture of happiness and sadness. It gives you a mixture, right? Just like the camel, you see the camel eats grass, and when it is eating grass, there's a lot of cactus and things like that in the desert, and there are thorns, and the thorns will be pricking its gums, and it will be bleeding. So the blood will be coming, its own blood, and mixed with the grass, and then the camel feels it's very tasty. This is a very tasty grass. Yummy, yummy. Right? So similarly, our happiness, material world happiness, is like that. See, whatever we are getting enjoyment, it is there, but we are forgetting that behind that enjoyment there is a lot of suffering. We have done so many sacrifices for getting this enjoyment today. So it's a mixture of our blood, and we are enjoying that blood, and we are thinking it is very tasty, like that camel, but actually it is not happiness, right? So we have two natures: transcendental nature, material nature. So all our life, have we practiced associating with transcendental nature, or have we practiced associating with the material nature? Simple question. So that is what is going to come towards the end of the life. Towards the end of the life, nothing new will come, right? Just like, students also, it happens in our student life. How will you write an exam? Let's say you are studying for the 12th, or you're preparing for your 12th exams. However you have prepared throughout the 12th is going to be your result. That's it. You can't expect some miracle in the last 1 week. There's some people, some students, who run in the last 1-2 weeks. They try to cover all the syllabus for the last 2 years. Last 2 years syllabus not covered any day, but last 2 weeks, they try to do it. They get to do something, but then it obviously reflects, isn't it? Whatever we have not practiced will be very clear. that at the end we will not be able to deliver the same thing. Simple. So it's about a practice. So without practice, it's not possible. And whatever thoughts we are accumulating, whatever consciousness we are accumulating throughout the life, only what is matters. It's a marathon. Krishna consciousness is not a sprint. That in the last minute, okay, the formula is, when you become old, just go and run and get a sprint and just remember Krishna and go back to God. That may work for some people, but most of the time it may not work also. Okay, because at that point of time we don't know what our mindset will be at the time of death. When Parikshit Maharaj was a devotee throughout his life, don't think that only in the last 7 days he did Krishna consciousness. Parikshit Maharaj, I tell you, when he was a child, Parikshit Maharaj, he used to play with dolls of Krishna. He used to decorate the dolls of Krishna, and he used to worship Krishna's dolls like that. At childhood itself he was a devotee. Right, so that is how he was able to, at the end of the life, when he got to know that he was about to die in 7 days, he's not getting upset. He's saying, okay, let me just distribute my responsibilities. And he quickly distributed the responsibilities, royal responsibilities. He said, okay, my son, next this, you take care of this, you can do this, I'm going. And then he leaves and he goes to the Ganges, and then he sits there, and then all the saintly people come. And because he's Parikshit, all the saintly people came there. Right? If it was not Parikshit, why would they come there? And then Shukadeva Goswami also came, hearing that such a great devotee, Parikshit Maharaj, is about to leave the body. And he gave Krishna consciousness lecture, Bhagavatam lecture. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu, Praveen Prabhu, yeah, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, my question is basically, earlier you mentioned about Ajamila.
Yeah.
And just now you said that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon,
it's a
basically.
marathon.
One has to practice throughout
Yes.
so as to achieve that state, so that, while leaving or quitting this body, you can
Correct.
remember Krishna, basically. But
Correct.
Prabhuji, Ajamila, he had no intent, I guess, to remember Krishna or remember God. It was his son, basically, he was calling for. And
Correct.
still he got delivered. Was it because of his previous life's karma, or it was like there was like different reference to this?
In the
And
same
also, Prabhuji,
life, yes, Prabhu.
yeah, sorry.
No problem.
So also you mentioned like, I mean, not you mentioned today, but I heard in some kathas that once you, start remembering Krishna, or start chanting or taking shelter to lotus feet of the God, then you should not do bad things, basically, because that has like uh, uh, terrible results in that sense. But in case of Ajamil, he was pious initially and he was religious, and then he, fallen to this state, and then still he got delivered. So, what is the reference, Prabhu, to
Sure,
that?
Prabhu. Yeah, nice question.
Hare Krishna.
So I said, there's a verse which says, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Which means even if we practice little bit of Krishna consciousness, it will save us from a great danger. So that is the example of Ajamil. Ajamil, once upon a time, he was a very pious and religious Brahmin. He was doing all his religious duties. He was doing bhakti also. He may not be doing pure devotional service, but he was doing bhakti of Lord, right? Which helped him towards the end of his life to remember him, to remember Lord. In that way, he was very lucky because he did something. It's not that he didn't do anything at all. Okay, he did have a very religious life in the beginning of his life, and later, at some point of time, he slipped, right? So even Narad says this, that that is the power of this bhakti yoga. The devotional service of Krishna is such a powerful process that even if somebody falls down somewhere, they will again get a chance to reinstate it, either in the next lifetime or in the same lifetime. Ajamil was lucky, in the same lifetime he got a chance. But whatever we do is not going in a waste, right? That's what we saw in the 6th chapter, right? Arjuna asked the same question, isn't it? He said, what happens to a person because of worldly mindedness if he lives in between, right? And then Krishna says that after a little bit of practice of this yoga, he will be born in the family of the righteous or in the family of rich people. Or if he is doing for a long practice, he will be born in the family of transcendentalists. And then he will remember from his past life where he left, and he will continue from there. Correct? So like that, Ajamila had some background. It's not that he didn't have anything. It was not out of anything that he got something. Yeah? Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other questions, devotees? So the point is this,
Prabhuji,
that
can I add some
yes,
more?
yeah, please add. Go ahead.
In my understanding,
Yeah, please.
Krishna is in material world. The name of Krishna is not different than Krishna himself. So that's why when he called the Narayan at the last moment, he get this opportunity for him to go back to Godhead.
Right. Fantastic point. Wonderful. Krishna's name is not different from Krishna. When you say Narayan or Krishna or Vasudev, it's not different from Krishna. It's Krishna itself. It's absolute. And Krishna is so kind that he doesn't see whether you have said his name or whether you have said this by mistake or it was a joke. He just gives you the same result. He's so kind. Right? Just like in Damodar month is so kind. There's the nature of Krishna. That if you're, let us say you're showing a ghee lamp. Let's say you're casually going and somebody asks you, please come here. Okay, please offer this lamp to Krishna. Actually, it is not your lamp. Is it not? The lamp is somebody else's. The ghee is not yours. The wick is not yours. The picture is not yours. Nothing is yours. He said, okay, just he lit the lamp and gave in your hand. But you're showing it. But still Krishna is giving you the credit. Right? That you did it. Very good. So this is the mercy of the Lord. So the Lord's names are so merciful, more merciful than the Lord himself. Right? But anybody who remembers.
Prabhuji, it reminds me of the hunter Migari who could not say Ram Ram. He said Mara Mara. And
Yes.
yet he became a very famous.
Right. So Brigari was not able to say, not Brigari, yeah, he was Valmiki's previous Ratnakara. Yeah, Ratnakara. Ratnakara was not able to say Ram. He said Mara, Mara, Mara. But yet he was able to deliver himself. Right. That's right. Okay. That's nice. Okay. Let us proceed. And so what is the conclusion now? What is the conclusion? We understood two things. That if you don't remember Krishna, if we remember Krishna at the time of death, we get transcendental nature, we go back to God. If we don't remember Krishna, anything other than Krishna is material. Right? Anything other than Krishna is material, including demigods. If we remember demigods at the time of death, what will happen? We'll not go back to Godhead. It is given here. We should note carefully. Here Prabhupada is writing, see, do not think that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains same transcendental state. No. Bhagavad Gita doesn't say so. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying if somebody is a worshipper of demigods, he will attain the planet of the demigods. And that planet of the demigods, Krishna says, is also material. It's a part of the material world. It's not a spiritual world. Only Krishna's abode is spiritual world. He will explain the coming.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
What if a person dies thinking of Prabhupada or I die thinking of my Guru Maharaj? What is my position?
Very nice question. What happens if you remember your spiritual master and die? It is the same result as that of remembering Krishna. Because Prabhupada always remembers Krishna. If we remember Prabhupada, we will attain to the same place where Prabhupada went. That is back to Godhead. As simple as that.
Prabhuji, but demigods are also part of their manifestations, or they are maybe may say workers of Krishna. So they all are also thinking of Krishna all the time because they are working for Krishna. So why is it that if you it is different from remembering a devotee of Krishna?
Actually, it is said that the devotee is better than all the demigods put together. A devotee is better than demigod because a devotee is completely transcendental. He has got the same nature as that of Krishna. But demigod may not be having the same nature as that of Krishna. He may not be a pure devotee. Demigods may not be pure. For example, we see Indra. What do you think? Indra, Varuna, so many demigods are there. We don't know if they are pure devotees or not. I mean, in general, that's not the principle. The principle is you have to remember a devotee. But if you think that, if you know that this demigod is a pure devotee of Krishna, and in that consciousness, if you worship that demigod, you will go back to Krishna. So we have to be
like Shiva,
yeah, like Shiva, right? Like Shiva, for example, we have Gopeshwar Mahadev in Vrindavan. Gopeshwar Mahadev is always in the mood of Vrindavan. So if you worship Lord Shiva in the mood of Gopeshwar Mahadev, if you worship Durga Devi in the mood of Yoga Maya, then you will be, Katyayani Devi Gopi is also worshipped and they got Krishna. So it depends upon our consciousness, our knowledge, our understanding. If we worship in that consciousness, then we will be able to attain Krishna. But otherwise, no. In general, it won't happen like that. In general, when we worship the demigods, we don't think that they are, servant, I'm worshipping the servant of Krishna or anything like that, isn't it? Generally, when we worship the demigods, we think, okay, let me get some nice, here is an independent supreme personality of Godhead who is very kinder than Krishna, who is right to give more than Krishna. So let me go to this demigod and worship and get that immediately, and let me skip Krishna's worship. So that consciousness is material consciousness.
Prabhuji, generally what happens is that those who, at least for me, I can say before attending this Gita class, we generally follow the deity of the family. So it is Murha or whatever, Kartikeya, whatever it is. And then you say that before starting this, you're supposed to go to Parni and come back, or you will have a god of the village, which is every
True.
3 years, 4 years, you do perform a ritual for that. All these things come in the family, which you also see that I don't know, it may be a andhavishwas or whatever it is, but then yes, people say that this is to be done, otherwise this will not happen, this good things will not happen, whatever. So that's how it is. After attending this class, yes, Krishna and all these concepts have at least I have come to know of these concepts only after attending these classes. So this must be true for many people like me in this world. So yes, it is a little bit not common amongst the common man that you
Yes.
have to worship demigods with thinking of Krishna. That is something, yes. Some people have Krishna as their family deity. There they will
That's true.
do everything for Krishna, or it may be their Ishta Devata, then they will do only Krishna worship.
True. Mati, this is Vedic culture. Vedic culture is like that only. That there are different demigods, there are different family deities, right? We see in a lot of Bhagavatam stories also. We see Nanda Maharaj went to perform Shivaratri to the Ambikavana once, right? So he was Ambikavana, Nanda Maharaj and all the cowherd men will go, and they'll be performing the austerities throughout the night. And in the night there is a snake which comes to swallow Nanda Maharaj. And at that point of time, he remembers Krishna. He says, Krishna, I surrender unto you. Please save me. And Krishna saves him. Like that we see. So all this is a part of the Vedic culture. Like, we see Arjuna also, for example. He was encouraged by Krishna to go and get Pashpatastra from Lord Shiva. And he got it. Right?
Hmm.
So it's a part of the Vedic culture. It's a part of the Vedic culture. But the point is, it's called Kula Dharma. Kula Dharma. So
Yes.
Arjuna also in the beginning, right, he was saying about different dharma. And he was arguing to Krishna from a Kula Dharma point of view. That, as per the Kula Dharma, if I'm going to fight and if I'm going to kill our kinsmen, then they will all go to hell, like that. So finally Krishna says that, Kula Dharma, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. That is the message of Krishna. So when he says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, it includes everything, whatever dharma that we can think of, what we think as dharma. In an ordinary, it's called ordinary mundane religious principles, which are in the three modes of material nature. As long as these religious principles are in the modes of material nature, we have to give up all of them and we have to take up the transcendental religious principles. Transcendental religious principles is desirelessness. Desirelessness means worshipping Krishna. So that is the next level. So that's the next level. So this is a Sanatana Dharma. We are trying to, that's what Krishna is trying to instruct Arjuna to come out of that, mundane religious principles, just like Ajamil's story. The Yamadutas, they were debating with the Vishnudutas. According to the Yamadutas, Ajamila should not go back to Godhead. Because as per the mundane religious principles, as per the general Vedic principles, a person who has done a sinful activity must suffer. Ajamila must supposed to be go to hell. Yes or no? But then the Vishnuduta said, no, there is something beyond what you know. There is something beyond. That is called Bhagavata Dharma. As per Bhagavata Dharma, he is liberated. He is supposed to go back to God. So that is the conflict between Yamadutas and Vishnudutas. The Yamadutas said, Veda Pranihito Dharma. That means religious principle means whatever is said in the Veda, that is only his Dharma. And as per that Vedas, this this Ajamil is a sinner, he should be taken to hell. And the Vishnuduta said, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranito. He said, Dharma is not Veda pranihito Dharma. It's not that whatever is given in the Vedas, that is Dharma. It is what Krishna says, that is Dharma. If Krishna says this is Dharma, that is only Dharma. There is nothing else beyond that. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. If Krishna says, you surrender unto me, you will come back to me, that is only the final Dharma. Even Dharmaraj cannot come and counter or argue with Krishna. Dharmaraj was also devotee of Krishna, isn't it? Yamadharmaraj has come as Dharmaraj, isn't it? As Vidura and as Yudhishthir Maharaj. And he was a pure devotee of Krishna, and they were just simply following whatever Krishna says. So even Dharma also follows what Krishna says. So Krishna is like the final authority, not Dharma is not the final. Krishna, whatever Krishna is telling, Bhagavata Dharma is the ultimate authority. So in that way, what we have to understand is the Kula Dharma are stepping stones. It is for us to, keep ourselves in a little bit of religious kind of a practice. Without Kula Dharma, without Varnashrama Dharma, we will fall down to the state of cats and dogs like that. But that is not the all in all. I mean, we cannot think that by worshipping my ancestors, by worshipping demigods, I am going to attain the supreme goal. Right? That is actually not the supreme, that's not a supreme instruction. There is some other supreme instruction which Krishna is giving in Bhagavad Gita. That we have to pick up.
Excuse me, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
What all our lives, we have been going to all those Devi temples and all that Murga, etc., is to pray for a comfortable life.
Yes.
When we came to Krishna consciousness, we have come to understand what is a clean life.
Right.
There is a lot of difference between that and this, actually, because now we start reading Bhagavad Gita. Okay, we are talking about something more elevated, rather than just the mundane comforts of life, And that's what I also have been practicing, maybe that I've been doing before and now.
Right, Prabhu. It is just like this: desires versus desirelessness.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Please tell me.
I didn't get you, Prabhuji. Means like desireless life. I didn't
Desirelessness.
understand.
Okay, akama and kama. I'll tell you what is desire and what is desirelessness.
Yes,
Desire says if we want to gratify our senses, that I want a happy life, I want a good family life, I want to be happy, I want to live for a long life, I want my children to be nicely settled, I want to be very rich, I want to be comfortable. This is called desires. Okay, I want to enjoy my life. This is called desires. Desirelessness means I want to do whatever Krishna desires, I want to do that. That's it. Kamam tu dasye natu kama kamaya. That means if Krishna desires, let it happen. If Krishna doesn't desire, let it not happen. Let whatever Krishna desires happen. Right? Is that understood? If we align our desires to Krishna's desires, that is called desirelessness. In the beginning, just like Arjuna, he was desirous. I mean, he was talking about different desires that, I don't want to fight this war.
Following Bhagavata Dharma, Prabhuji.
Bhagavata Dharma. That's what it's a Bhagavata Dharma is, I just want to please my spiritual master. I just want to please my guru. I want to please Krishna. That's it. That's my goal of life. And for that, if something is enabling me, I will take it like that. It's not that I desire something out of it like that. This is desirelessness. This desirelessness is the pure state of mind which can take us to liberation. Having a desire mindset is a polluted mindset. It's a material mindset. We will again be born. Simple, no? That's it. Yeah.
Another doubt, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes. In family, like worshipping demigods, all the rituals, everything, like it will be there. But finally, like we'll be living in the family itself. Like we should be following all those things and everything we should be following. I didn't understand like getting getting over that and following Bhagavad means I didn't understand the main that concept.
You don't have to artificially renounce something. Okay, if it's there in your family rituals, you do it. Actually, there are so many devotees who still have their family deities. They worship their family deity. They go to their family deity, temples, worship, etc. It's just the consciousness that we have to change. We just have to understand that these demigods are the servants of Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Yeah, these
Understanding
demigods are
better.
servants of Krishna, and I'll pray to them that I become a better devotee. That's it. I'm not going to ask
Just
anything.
I'm not hearing, Prabhuji.
Says Prabhu?
No, I was stuck. I was not hearing.
Okay. I'm
Can you
saying,
repeat?
yeah, I'm saying that we should not ask anything for desires. I mean, typically we would have asked for something that, okay, please give me this, please give me this, please give me this. But instead, we should be asking when we worship the demigods, we should just say, please give me Krishna consciousness, make me Krishna conscious. Right? So we can pray to, if your family tradition is there, you should continue it. I mean, there's no need to artificially stop it and actually become what do you say? It's going to actually increase your troubles of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, troubles, ill feelings,
Yeah,
unnecessary
and then you will unnecessarily attract attention.
and then attract all sorts of.
You will attract
There'll be
different
no
kinds
peace of mind in the family. All
yeah,
these things
it
can
will
be avoided.
it will actually disturb your Krishna consciousness.
Yes,
It is much better to simply just go with the flow. Worship the demigods with your consciousness is there. You know whom you're worshiping. You're worshiping Krishna within them, within the demigods, and you're worshiping the Paramatma within the demigods. And and your consciousness is very clear, and you're not asking for any desires. You're asking only for Krishna consciousness. So that's fine.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Also, Prabhuji, at least we are blessed that we are born in India and we know Krishna and this culture. Despite of having so many other demigods, also we still know this Krishna in his pastimes.
Right.
If we talk about the Western world, Prabhuji, where people do not know about Krishna or this culture at all,
Correct.
and they got the association of Srila Prabhupada, and they got like Krishna conscious. Many of our Guru Maharaj and ISKCON devotees, they come from the Western world, and they are following the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita.
Right.
That is the great reference, Prabhuji, for us as an Indian, I guess, Prabhuji.
That's right. Yeah. So familiarity brings contempt. So it's, in a way it's good, in a way it's bad also. It depends upon how we use it. So familiarity, we are familiar with Krishna conscious culture. We know what is Krishna, we know Bhagavad Gita to some extent. I mean, if we use it positively, that this is not something different. This is what all our ancestors have been saying. That at the end of your life, you just have to remember Rama and Krishna. Ram Nam Satya Hai. Everybody, we understand what they are saying. Overall, this is the truth. If you go in that direction, you are using it in a positive way. If you go in the other direction, like, oh, what these people are saying, they've gone totally crazy. I mean, my family demigod, my family deity is very important. These people have invented something new. These are Westerners, have created some new philosophy. It's a Western philosophy. This is an Abrahamic religion. So this is a envious mindset. If we get into that direction, that means it is we said that 4 type of people, Name Duskritino Muda, Prapadyante Naradama, Mayaya Pahrita Jnana, Asurim Bhavamasri. That means we are going into one of that 4 categories by getting into that mindset. If we get into an envious mindset, trying to say, no, what is this? That is getting into that Duskritina mindset. So Sukriti, Duskriti. We should be careful to be in a Sukriti mindset. So if we use it like that, then we are blessed. Because we are Indians, we know everything, we have Krishna conscious culture. We don't have any doubt that Krishna consciousness is very safe and it's very good for us. Right? We know that thousands of people are practicing Krishna consciousness in our country. Right? So in that way, it is good if we use it. But if we use it, if we use it if we take it in the wrong way, it's unfortunate. It's bad luck. Right? And the Westerners who are coming straight to Krishna consciousness, they are lucky because they don't have this confusion. We are confused already. We have been coming with, we have a lot of baggage, that we have so many different thought processes, different mindsets that have come, which we have to break. Right? For them, it is very simple. From day one, they know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they know Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and nothing else, and they're chanting. So in a way, they are like, empty cup. Empty cup, just put the water inside it, it's full. But a half full cup, right? That's a little bit of problem. First, you have to empty that cup and then put water into it. That's a little bit more difficult. There is a little bit of unlearning also we have to do here. Right? Yeah, that's what. Hare Krishna. Anything
Hare Krishna
else?
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Another doubt, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
How will get to know that our Guru Maharaj is pleased with us? Or like,
Nice
means
question.
like what will be duty like allotted to us? How
Right.
we'll get to know means,
Nice question.
okay,
See,
we'll be going
spiritual
to,
master very
yes,
clearly
yes.
gives instructions. Okay, it's very easy to see. You see, spiritual master gives instructions. I mean, depends on different spiritual master to different spiritual master. I do not know about other spiritual masters, but I can talk about our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. His instructions are very clear. You know, some devotees go to him, disciples, and say, Guru Maharaj, give me personal instructions. Okay, give me some personal instructions, something very personal, something very personal that, you know, you do this, I'll do that. But Guru Maharaj says, I don't give personal instructions generally. He says, whatever Prabhupada told me, he gave me some set of instructions. There are some set of 17 instructions of something that Prabhupada has given instructions to him, you know, Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. He says, you help me in that. That's it. So things like, you know, distributing 10,000 big books. So distributing 10,000 books every month is one of the goals that Srila Prabhupada gave to Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. And he said, preach Krishna consciousness unlimitedly. And he said, revive the places of birth of different associates of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Mayapur and around areas, right? And he said, develop the Gaura Mandala Bhumi, develop the Mayapur area, right? And there's no entry for foreign devotees in Puri. Do something and negotiate and try to help the devotees to go inside the temple, like that. So like that, there are so many specific instructions he has. He says, you just help me with those instructions and that's good enough. You don't have to do anything else. I mean, like that, I'm sure every spiritual master will have their own set of instructions like that. So we will know. When we ask the Guru will say, okay, what is the expectation? Very clearly, Guru says, what is it that they expect? Okay, is that clear?
So Prabhuji means like, in order to know the instructions are like what to do,
Yeah.
we need to follow Guru Maharaj's channel and we need to.
Yeah, you need to follow the channel. You need to read the newsletter that it comes. There's a mobile app that is there. This year we had a program called Guru Agnya, right, in Madurai. I mean, the whole program was that only. It was like a 2-day program, and completely the program was all about instructions of Guru Maharaj, where he was talking about reading Srila Prabhupada books. And he says, read Srila Prabhupada books regularly. And one more instruction that he said was, the Grihasthas should be like Paramahamsas, right? All the means the Grihasthas should be like Paramahamsas. Like, I know a lot of people have asked me this follow-up question. What is the meaning of Grihasthas being Paramahamsas? It means that the members of the family should always remember Krishna. Paramahamsa is one who always remembers Krishna. That means we should somehow design our life in such a way that we are always in remembrance of Krishna. That is number 2 that he said, right?
Okay.
So instructions like this. And he said, you have to raise your children in Krishna consciousness, make them acharyas, like that. That's one of the instructions that he gave, like that. Instructions are very simple. Read Srila Prabhupada books, right? And I was saying, right, just now. Yeah, Grihastha should be like Paramahamsas, raise your children in Krishna consciousness, like this. Like this. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's just do one story and then we will stop. Here is one story of Bharat Maharaj. Very interesting story. We cannot skip this story. Would anybody like to tell the story instead of me telling? Anybody wants to try? Bharat Maharaj story? If you can tell it in 5 minutes. Bharat Maharaj story. Who wants to say Bharat Maharaj story? Jada Bharata. Who is Bharat Maharaj? What happened to him? And what was the state of mind he was in when he left his body? What did he become? And what happened to him in the next life? And did he go back to Godhead or not? If yes, how? Right? Okay, I'll tell you this story.
little bit, just I will tell him few words,
No, please,
Prabhuji.
please, please. Yeah, go ahead. Please tell.
So
Very
because he was Bhartabhata was the great king, he was performing all spiritual activities and all completely. He was so much mercy for the human beings and as well all activities of this one. So
okay.
then he was once upon he was time he was sitting performing meditation at river near river and very concentrately about the Krishna consciousness. Then he saw that one lion hunting to the deer, and the deer was that was a pregnant deer. It jumped in the water to save herself in the water, and by the time that he delivered the baby, and that was seen. This Bhargama Chakravarti saw that scene, and he felt he want to save the baby of that deer, and then he saved this one. But therefore, that because of that, afterwards he developed a very this completely. Friendship with the Bhagavad, and he would just getting care. And he, I think, left his spiritual activities gradually attending for the deer. So therefore, after the next janma, and then because even at the time of death also, he was remembering that we will take care and all like that. He was
He
feeling
was
about
thinking.
the
He was thinking about the deer at the time of death.
deer only. Yes,
About
so
the, yeah.
yes, therefore he afterwards he took birth in a deer.
And he
So
he was born as a
because
deer,
of
and
spiritual
he was born
activity,
as a deer, right? He was born
yes.
as a deer, right?
So there, therefore, next Janma he took birth in a Brahmin's family, and that because of previous activities, spiritually thinking, and he was not talking anybody. We can't use so much completely. Anybody by scolding him, all these things he was not caring. Only Krishna conscious, and ultimately, I think that he has got devotion. This one complete that
Right.
much.
And ultimately, he remembers Krishna and he leaves his
Yes,
body and
yes,
goes back to God.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you very much. So, 3 lifetimes. Let's just summarize what Prabhu said. So, there was a very great king, Bharat Maharaj, who wanted to practice spiritual life, right? He was fed up with this material political activities as a king, and he wanted to be sure, he wanted to go back to home, back to Godhead. He didn't want to be, thinking about the kingdom or thinking about his enemies and dying. So he said, okay, let me go to the forest. He went to the forest, and unfortunately, he got in touch with a deer, and he was taking care of the deer. And at the time of death, he remembered the deer and became a deer. He was born as a deer. So one lifetime is gone. One lifetime, Bharat Maharaj. Next lifetime, deer. And then after the deer died, next lifetime, he was born as a Brahmana. And then when he was born as a Brahmin family, he did not waste his time in doing Kula Dharma, all these activities that we are talking about, right? He did not get into ritualistic activities, Shabda Brahman. Shabda Brahman means ritualistic activities of the Vedas, doing all the mantras, puja part, all that. He did not get into all of that because he knows the higher truth. So he always remained Krishna conscious. He acted like a fool. He did not do any ritualistic activities. He was always in Krishna consciousness. He left his body, went back to home, back to God. Clear? So that's the story of Bharat Maharaj. So whatever you remember at the time of death, that's the nature that we get. Right? This is the lesson that we have to take to every town and every village. We have to tell everybody this story. Because there's no house where death doesn't happen. And we want our near ones and dear ones, we want to give them the best. And we don't know what is that best. This is the best. Just tell this message to your near ones and dear ones. That, whenever you die, you remember Krishna and die. That's it. And you make your life in such a way that you are always remembering Krishna, so that at the time of death, you remember Krishna and you go back to home, back to God. So in that way, even if you die also, it's okay, no problem. I mean, we should actually think like that. Even if our near ones and dear ones, they die also, no problem. There's no problem. We are very happy. We'll celebrate if they go back to home, back to God. But if they don't, if they're not in Krishna consciousness, even if they're alive also, it is as good as dead. It's called living dead. Living dead means it's like a dead body moving here and there. So it's like a living dead. So it is better to be, it's not good to be a living dead person. It's better to be remembering Krishna and going back to home, back to Godhead. So if somebody is able to remember Krishna and if he is able to die, then we should actually celebrate, right? I'll tell you one story, one interesting story which I will say. Once what happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan in Srivas Angan, and Srivas Thakur was one of the associates. He was Narada in the previous lifetime. So Srivas Thakur, his son died. His son died. And everybody in the house are loudly shouting, crying. Then he was telling, if you all cry and disturb Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's kirtana, I will die. You stop this. And everybody were like, just not able to control their emotions. They were crying, but they were controlling themselves. And then somehow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing. He was doing the kirtan. And he came back and he heard some loud noises happening. Somebody is crying here, okay? And then he came there and find out what happened. Then he asked, Srivas Thakur's son died. Okay, Srivas Thakur's son died. And he went to the dead body of that boy and he said, wake up. And that boy came back to life. And then he started to speak that this is not my first lifetime. I have so many fathers, I have so many mothers. But in this lifetime, I have been very fortunate that I left my body, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here. When he is doing kirtan, I'm hearing his kirtan and I left my body. And I'm going back to home, back to God. Please don't stop me. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Srivas Thakur and his wife, so your son is going back to home, back to God. Permanent, he's permanently going back to home. Will you let him go or will you let him stay in the material world? What do you want to do? Is it okay if he goes? He said, it's fine, let him go. We are happy for him. So then the Srivas Thakur's son goes back to God. Right? And everybody's grief will be reduced, right? After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this, right? So there's so much of depth inside this, right? So, what is the use? Somebody dies and then you take the body and say Ram Nam Satya. Is there any meaning for it? Tell me. What are we trying to tell to the dead body? That now chant, now Ram Nam Satya hai. All this life you wasted your time. Abhi, you just understand Ram Nam Satya hai. What is this? Makes sense, no? We have to understand when we are alive that it is the eternal truth. That to chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the eternal truth. We have to design our life in such a way. And next verse we will see, we could not discuss that, where Krishna explains how to balance our life, okay, and do our material activities along with Krishna consciousness. In a balanced manner, we should just keep doing both. We should not be extreme. We should be balancedly maintain both. He explains that formula, and that's how you can go back to home, back to God. Okay, I think we'll stop here, devotees. Any other questions, any questions, any points, any comments that you want to add? Anybody has any doubts?
Prabhuji, for Bharat Maharaj, even in his third life, so second life he became deer, and then third life he became Brahman. He born
Right.
as a Brahman family. So his name was still Bharat, Jad Bharat, right?
His name was Jadabharat. Yeah, somehow the name
It
is
was.
the same.
It's a coincidence, Prabhuji, or it has some.
Maybe it's a coincidence.
Thank you.
Maybe there was some other name also, but for the sake of the story, we are just hearing Bharat so that we don't get confused. Possible.
Oh, sorry for this silly question,
No
Prabhuji.
problem.
Sorry.
No problem.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have one small question.
Yeah, please,
Sorry,
please.
getting delayed.
No problem.
Bharat Maharaj saved the deer. I think that is correct. But he got attached to it. That is wrong, right?
Right. Saving is good thing. He saved
Yeah.
so many. As a king, also he saved so many living entities. I mean, the same
Huh.
thing he could have done it as. I mean, as a king, he has a greater capacity to save so many innocent people. Not only
Yes.
he could have been there also, but he left all of that, understanding that this is a material activity and that is
Right.
not spiritual activity, and came here and he did the same thing here. Then somehow maybe he just did it for setting an example for us. He was a great devotee.
And also in animal life, you don't get any bad karma. A bit. It is
Animal
just.
life, there's no bad karma
Yeah.
and there's no remembrance also. But Bharat Maharaj was a great devotee, therefore he had remembrance of his past life. But in general,
Right.
there is no bad karma, there's no remembrance, there's nothing. It's just the animal life is just an animal life. That's it.
It is just mechanical. They don't have any intellect, so it just
Yeah.
mechanically they follow.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
mechanically they'll be following their instincts. They have some intelligence, but not the kind of intelligence that we have. They have some basic instincts. They just go by their instincts. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna.
Yes.
Eating, mating, sleeping, defending. That's their only instincts. That's the only four things that they understand. Nothing beyond that, they don't understand anything.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Devotees, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We'll stop